Have you ever worked for what I'm going to call a challenging boss, a challenging leader? Even leaders have leaders. And maybe some of you have worked for, at some point in your life, a challenging leader. What do I mean by a challenging leader? Here's a couple of examples. A challenging leader is someone who asks you to do things that are unnecessary. They may say to you, hey, I want you to get a sticker for all of our employees that says, I am somebody. Oh, all right. Or a challenging leader not only asks for things that are unnecessary, but they sometimes ask for things that are unclear. Listen, I'm going to need you to go duck hunting and ruffle some feathers. All right. Also, a challenging leader not only asks for things that are unnecessary, unclear, but they also have some half-baked ideas, not quite finished. Hey, we're going to move. We need to create some space, so I want you to plan a move for us. All right, well, boy, there's a lot that goes into that. So we've probably all been around some challenging leaders in our lives. Not every leader is challenging all the time, but I think all leaders are challenging some of the time. And even though we're leaders, we also have leaders above us. And having a challenging leader is a terrible position to be in. It is really frustrating to try to decipher the unclear messages, to try to figure out the why behind the unnecessary asks. It is also difficult to fully formulate a plan that is half-baked, not quite fully done. And when you see their name come up on the phone, you're like, oh boy, here we go. Or a meeting that you're both going to be in together, you know an assignment is coming that's just not going to be clear. And eventually, if you let this go along like this, you're going to hate your job. You're going to begin to hate going to work, waking up in the morning, getting ready, because of all of these challenges that the challenging leader above you, who is leading you, is posing. So what do? Well, I think challenging leaders require great managing. Even leaders have to manage their leaders. Leaders don't just manage their employees, their staff, but they manage their leaders as well. And challenging bosses require great management. What do I mean by great management? Two things. First, ask this very specific question when they give you an assignment that you think is unnecessary, unclear, or half-baked. Ask this question exactly. What problem are we solving? What problem are we solving? You need to know the problem that we're trying to solve. As they say, there is more than one way to skin a cat. I love cats. I've owned cats. But there is more than one way to skin a cat. My undergraduate degree is in biology, and I actually did skin a cat. And let me tell you, there's more than one way to do it. So you must ask the question, what problem are we solving? Sometimes your leader won't even have the answer to that question, and you've got to really be firm about that. What problem are we solving? Is this a real issue that we are solving? What problem are we solving? When you finally get to the answer, to the official problem, clear, well-defined, specific, this is the problem we are trying to solve, then you must create time and space to assess all the moving parts. Those two things. What problem are we solving? And then when you get there, create some time and space to assess all the moving parts. Let's look at the example of moving the company. We need to move the company. We don't have any space. All right. What do you mean by that? What is the specific problem we are trying to solve? Well, here's the specific problem your boss says. We make this widget, which requires this piece of equipment, but now we're going to make this widget, which requires a bigger piece of equipment, and the room that we have is not big enough, so we got to move. All right, so you say, give me some time here. I'm going to look at this. You get somebody on the boss's request. You can't ignore the boss's request. Get somebody on that. Hey, find some places to move that are bigger than what we have. But then you gather another group of people, and you begin to solve this specific issue. We're going to make a new widget. The piece of equipment doesn't fit in our current room. And you discover that if we knock down this wall, the piece of equipment will fit in that room. And so you do an assessment. Then you go back to your boss and you say, okay, if we're going to move the whole company, it's going to cost $200,000 plus lost productivity, which who knows how much that's going to cost us in lost revenue, but I'm estimating about $200,000. However, if we knock down this wall between these two rooms, the new equipment for the new widget will fit in there. And then if we allow the people who are occupying that room to work remotely, It will increase employee engagement because they can now work from home. And secondly, it's only going to cost us $30,000 with no loss in productivity. So we can move the company with a loss of productivity for $200,000 or lose no productivity and it costs us $30,000. And then you present that to the boss. Challenging bosses require great managing. What problem are we solving? Create some time and space to assess all of the moving components. Now, as I'm saying this, please don't let you be that challenging boss. Give your employees clear direction, specific direction with a why behind it. Here's why we need to do this. I am Bill Werner. This is Leadership Made Clear. Have a great day today.